What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of the SignatureCAST, where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. I am joined to my right once again in the Signature Fitness studio with IFBB Pro and, proud to say, my coach, Jess Falborn, is in the house. Jess, how you feeling?
I feel great.
Awesome. Yeah. She's looking like a piece of granite right now. Also, somehow magically gained like, 12 inches in height because I look like a midget.
I'm king of the castle.
Yeah. But no, she has her booster seat today. Warren, we got to get some new chairs in here or something.
For us vertically challenged individuals.
But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're super excited about today's episode. We're going to go over the 2024 Arnold Classic. We're going to go over all of our predictions, and we're going to do a little deep dive into Jess's prep for her first ever pro debut, correct? Yeah. We don't know when it is, but that's to be announced. I'm sure soon, right?
Yeah. Well, we could talk a little bit.
We'll talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an exclusive.
Yeah, we're super pumped, guys. Arnold Classic, as we all know, every year is an amazing event for bodybuilding, all things fitness. I think this is my 7th or 8th Arnold.
Wow.
Going to, which is awesome. It gets better and better every year, especially post 2020, they're bringing things back bigger and better than ever before. And in terms of bodybuilding and fitness and classic physique, we have some incredible competitors coming up this year. So let's hop right into it. I think the first thing Jess will go over is women's fitness, right? And so I'm going to start off by saying we have a local, hometown Jacqueline, she took, second place last year?
Yeah, Jacqueline took second. Jacqueline Baker, she took second last year.
Jacqueline Baker took second last year. And I've always said, I think she's one of those competitors that has the potential to win the Arnold. She comes back every year stronger and better. And that's what's just so cool, I think, about fitness is yes, their physique is super important, but that routine is just so much of their score. Yeah. And it can make or break somebody. So Jacqueline, we got your back. We hope you win. But as you had mentioned, Jess, there's someone else who you are also keeping an eye on, right?
Yeah, I'm friends with Ariel Kadar. So she won last year, and Jacqueline took second. So, I love both those girls. So it would be great if either of them took first and second. I think it will be down to them again. And I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know a ton about fitness. I know.
Sure.
It's a smaller group of girls that compete, so I don't know all of the competitors, but I think it'll be down between Ariel and Jacqueline again. I know Jacqueline had a couple obstacles in this prep that she was dealing with, and she was pretty transparent about it on her Instagram. I think she had she was sick for a little while, and maybe I think she had a minor injury. So, but she posted that she's still planning on doing it. So, and I'm sure her routine is always flawless. So I'm sure that's gonna.
She's fantastic.
Through, so
it really is and she was mad at me that I said it's my favorite female category.
Yeah, but I'm right here.
But I think it's so cool the fact that you can look insane and then do all these backflips and splits and all this kind of stuff. And, we were both at the Olympia, where we saw Missy have, unfortunately, a pretty traumatic injury. I think it was a torn ACL, right? Right? I think, or was it or a dislocated knee? It was one of the two.
Yeah.
But it was, we were all super pumped when she came out, and out of nowhere, just bang, it's. Yeah.
Her and then Whitney with her shoulder.
That's right.
Her shoulder, injury after injury, and you have to assume that some of this stuff is a freak accident.
Yeah.
Most of it is, but it's harder for your body to recover or even prevent those injuries when you are depleted as hell. And even once you've been carved up for stage, you're still dehydrated. You still probably don't have enough electrolyte. So it's tough for your body to be able to not get injured.
Yeah. To physically perform when you're technically at your weakest is very impressive, but also very dangerous. Yeah. So, look, I don't disagree. I think it's going to be those two gunning for the number one spot. And, what's really interesting about that division as well is you have so many people coming into that sport, so many women who have either gymnastics backgrounds or cheerleading or something like that, that you never know. We could also see somebody brand new.
Yeah. At the Olympia, Little T.
Yes,
Taylor.
That's who I was thinking. I couldn't think of her name. Yeah.
So I'll briefly mention this. So I watched a recap after the Olympia where Sandy Williamson, one of the head judges or the head judge for fitness, mentioned why Taylor did so well. And because everyone that was watching, they were like, okay, Whitney's probably going to win. Look at her in the physique round. Not Whitney, I'm sorry. Missy is probably going to win. Look at her in the physique round. But Sandy said, it's not all about the physique. And if you look at Taylor, like, it's very obvious. She's like a young girl, doesn't have the muscularity that some of these other girls have. But her routine was just like next level.
Flawless.
And Sandy did say, like, when they watched her win at Legion, she's young, she's new in the sport. This was her first Olympia. The Legion was her first pro win. And so they kind of, I think there's an element of like grooming the younger generation.
Sure.
Because fitness is not a huge group of women. So so they kind of want to be able to like groom some of these younger women to start to take the place of some of these women that are kind of maybe aging out or not competing anymore.
Well, and I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, out of all the divisions, even though there are some really long-lasting fitness competitors, Oksana. Yeah, thank you. Krishida's her last name, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, she's been doing it forever, but in terms of what would take a toll on your body, the constant just pounding on the joints from all those aerial moves and stuff like that.
I mean, Oksana's had to be out a few times because of injuries. It was not this past Olympia, but the year before she was prepping, and then she had to back out because she had an injury. And so, I mean, it happens probably more often in fitness than any other division.
Yeah, so definitely, bringing up the new people. So that's what we think. Guys, tell us what you think in the comments below. Next, we're going to go to men's classic physique. Now, obviously what we should do, and Jess so graciously gave me a little cheat sheet, is who competed last year and who will be competing this year. So last year, Ramon took first, Urs took second, and Alex Cambronero took third. I know Ramon is competing again.
Yep. And his updates have been wild.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I think most people think there's no question that Ramon's going to win again.
Urs is competing, right?
Urs is competing, but he hasn't posted any physique updates.
But that's what,
since like November,
that
December.
interests me though. Is that mean usually it's like things are going really, really well that they don't want to show people, or it's horribly well.
Yeah.
Like or it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I would say
Nobody
it's a 50-50, but
he's confirmed he's doing it, I think a couple weeks ago, but lately, like, no one's heard anything from him. So, I mean, you never know. He's not a man a man of many words. Like, he doesn't put a lot out there, but yeah, no one's seen. It's tough to make a prediction if no one's seen what his physique looks like.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously Ramon is the heavy favorite. And just like with women's fitness, there's a lot of up and coming men in classic physique who just have some incredible genetics. But when you have a track record like Ramon has, where he just keeps coming back better and better and better, taking second place again at the Olympia, I think it's pretty clear what's going to happen.
And the constant question or the joke that people make is like, how the hell does he make the weight cap? And I mean, spoiler, we know he doesn't. We know he doesn't.
We'll get to a story in a moment.
No, we haven't. I think we talked about this before.
Did we talk about it?
Prediction podcast.
We might have. Yeah, it was one of those.
It's common knowledge.
I mean, look. I mean, you got to think of it from a promoter's perspective. Like, they're the draw. You want them to compete, which is horrible when you think about it, because like if they don't make it, they won't make it. But I'll just never forget, because his coach is Hani is C-Bum's coach. And Ramon is someone from, I don't know who his coach is.
I don't remember who his coach is.
But either way, you just saw C-Bum and Ramon, like, they just keep going to the bathroom. And like, there's only so much magic you can do to reduce the weight.
Pee out.
Or, or
do whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right. Like, how does he make, because he keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, I know.
And he's already basically dry to the bone.
I mean, they did increase the weight cap.
Yeah.
So like one that is going to do really well because of the weight cap increase is Breon, because he was considering going into 212.
212, yeah.
And he's I think the oldest guy that's going to be on stage for Classic, but his updates have looked really good, and the increase in the weight cap has certainly helped him because he's able to like really let his physique do what it's going to do. And he doesn't have to worry about cutting down and losing muscle. So, and one guy who I think we should take a look at is Wesley Vissers.
Oh, shut the front door and get off your little stool. I don't even have to look up Wesley. I've been a fan of Wesley for like 6 years.
Yeah.
When he like barely even made the Olympia, he placed like 12th or 15th, whatever it was. Wesley, in my opinion, is the closest to an actual classic 70s physique than anyone, more than C-Bum.
Have you seen his updates recently?
Oh yeah, he looked ridiculous.
Yeah, he looks really
I'm gonna
great.
pull him up anyway, just for the hell of it.
I think if I'm looking at this lineup, I think he's
the dark horse.
He is. I think he's top 5 for sure.
Yeah, he looks stupid.
And I say that because we haven't seen Urs, so I don't know what he's going to look like. But I could see him top 5, maybe even top 3.
So what an interesting thing about Wesley. So he's been on his like classic bodybuilding journey for many years.
Yeah.
He is so well spoken.
Yeah.
If you watch his YouTube, he's also, I don't remember where is he Dutch or I'm trying to remember where he's from. I can't remember, but
Dutch or German.
Great accent. The guy sounds awesome, but he's also like the nicest, most humble guy. Because like I remember 2 years ago at the Olympia, 3 years ago, the first time I went when I was in Florida, we're at like the meet and greet and like no one was at, and I walked up and I just, hey man, I've been a fan forever. And he was like, oh my God, I appreciate that so like such a like incredible physique. And everyone was just like, just walking past the guy. And
Wesley, I would not walk past.
no. I mean, so like, and just to break it down, wow, because you can see I'm clearly fanboying right now.
I don't know who's a bigger fan.
I am such a big fan of Wesley. Even ask Steph, she knows. Like, babe, isn't that the guy you like? I'm like, yeah, he's awesome. Like, if I had
with Terrence, with your boy Terrence.
okay, so here, you know what? We'll make that. Is Terrence isn't doing the Arnold? Is he?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh man, this just throws the wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah. Unless he made an announcement that unless I missed that.
So we have. So right. So then, all right. So here, let's do this. Let's do a top 5.
Okay.
So we have Ramon, Urs. I don't know what order, but Ramon, Urs, Terrence, Breon, and Wesley.
I think that's a top 5.
I think that's a good top 5. Now, where do they place? I'll safely say I think Ramon takes it.
I think Ramon will take it. Yeah.
And it's a fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah. Again,
So,
without seeing
Urs,
updates, I would have him at 2nd because we know what he looked like at the Olympia. But unless something happened, he'll take 2nd. But I could see Wesley giving him a run for his money.
Are they still having their posing routine be judged at the Arnold? Remember they were doing that for a little while, right? It counted towards versus like the Olympia where it doesn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Because then, you know, my boy Terrence.
I mean,
Terrence, if you're listening, come, my dude, absolutely incredible. Like honestly, I still think is the best. Him and now Urs does that little like roboto thing, which is super cool.
Urs got the posing award last year.
Yeah. And he's another phenomenal one.
Yeah.
And I think it really is important.
Yeah.
You know, because especially for something like classic physique where you're trying to show these lines and stuff. But all right, so we have Ramon for first.
I think it's Ramon, Urs, Wesley, or Ramon, Wesley, Urs.
Ooh. And then you think
Breon, and then Terrence.
all right, that's where I'll disagree. I think so. Here's what I would like.
I don't think Terrence gets what he deserves.
No, I agree. Here's what I would like to see. I mean, obviously, I want like Wesley and Terrence to fight for first place, but that's not going to happen. So we'll take Ramon in first. I do believe that if Urs is on point, like he takes second. Now, I would love for Wesley to place third or Terrence. Mm-hmm. I don't think. So I think Breon would place higher than Wesley if he comes in good shape. Like if
I mean, you could see the updates.
If Breon is peeled,
yeah,
I think he beats Wesley. Also, just because of like he was a former Mr. Olympia, the whole train behind it.
Yeah. But I Wesley's updates versus Breon's updates, I think Wesley looks a lot drier, greenier.
And that's been his only issue. He always comes in condition, but it's never that like gnarly condition.
He's gnarly. Grainy.
He's got all the shape you could ever want.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the smallest waist.
No, he doesn't.
But he the way he like flares his rib cage and just his lats and everything, it really looks like a. Yeah. I almost think he looks like if you took Franco's like upper body but put it on the frame of Arnold, like you know what I mean, like, or maybe not Franco, but like he has like that Arnold-ish frame,
he does.
But the insertions aren't exactly the same.
He's long.
Yeah.
His torso's really long.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so we'll agree Ramon first, Urs second, screw it, Wesley third,
Yeah, I think so.
and then you think Breon and then Terrence.
Or
vice
Terrence and
versa.
then Breon. Yeah, I think that's your top 5.
Yeah.
Others that I was looking at, this guy Courage Opara.
Oh yeah.
He took 5th last year. He hasn't posted any updates, so I don't know what he looks like. But took 5th last year. He's back again this year. He's got a great physique.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yep.
So we'll see what he brings.
It's another one of those where I'm assuming he's relatively newer to the division.
I think so. Yeah.
So, you know, the maturity, the conditioning, but the shape is clearly there.
And then Michael DeBoule, I think he looks really good. I don't think he's top 5. I think he could be 6th or 7th. He didn't do it last year, but
You know how to spell his last name?
Daboul. There you go.
All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, I remember this guy. Yeah.
Like he's tall, he's long, you know, like, but he's got deep cuts.
Yeah,
and
but he's not
insertions.
balanced.
He's not. He's
He's not balanced.
But for the Arnold, like,
Sure, yeah. I just think his legs look phenomenal. I think his shoulders overpower his whole physique.
yeah. I mean, look in that shot.
it's-
His
yeah,
pecs, his
it's
shoulders
incredible.
overpower. His
He's
pecs
incredible, but yeah, he
tremendously.
definitely is a little. And that's something really interesting. If you pay attention to both men and women's bodybuilding in like the 70s and 80s, they didn't train their shoulders as much as they do now. So if you look like here, I'll just type in 70s bodybuilding. Oop. 70s bop. Huh. 70s bodybuilders, right? You see how all the shoulders have a nice slope to them? They're not
Yes.
cannon delts.
Yes.
Because their main focus was they wanted a big chest.
different now.
And that's the total difference. Like, there you go. Look at that. I mean,
The pecs.
the chest was
overpower
always
delts.
the focus, not the delts. Where now it's kind of the opposite because we're looking for that huge V,
Yes.
X frame.
Yeah.
But that's what really, plays the difference. And that's also why I like Wesley so much because I think he still kind of has that sloping shoulder look.
Yeah.
But he also has such a massive chest to help,
He does.
balance against it. But all right, cool. I mean, I'm excited. I think that's going to be a great division.
Yeah.
As we said, every time you've been on this podcast, it is definitely the most growing in terms of popularity.
Yeah, it is.
And it's continuing. So now we move to the open.
Yeah.
The
big
boys. The guys who eat too much.
Right. Who waddle. They're waddling.
The off-season bubble guts.
I mean, listen, there's some bubble guts right now. What, 10 days out? 9 days, what are we out? 9 days out now?
Did you? I'm going to say it. Sam, is that who you're talking? Yep.
Yep.
Samson's last update, he's going for a frontal body. He goes like, whoosh, and then it's like,
It's a little distended.
and I'm like, eesh.
Listen, I honestly, I still think Samson is top 2.
Oh,
He could probably
100%.
win it again.
100%.
But he's always been that massive guy that
Mm-hmm.
has the beautiful aesthetics. And the more stuff I watch, the more I see in the comments, everyone is noticing the midsection is losing
Yeah.
its lines a little bit. It's kind of inevitable, though. Once you get to that size, it happens.
So, I mean, there's so many arguments about, what they're taking that maybe that affects the stomach and all that type of stuff.
It can, but-
Personally, though, because I've seen bodybuilders reverse it, like I'll never forget when Rolly Winkler made his transformation come back to the Arnold. He always had a bubble gut, and out of nowhere, I mean, he looked like he lost 4 inches on his waist.
I mean, it's not.
I think it's the food.
Yes.
I think it's you could
it's your
take
digestion.
It's 100%. And think about it, like even on my high day when I'm eating, which is small compared to what they're eating, but it's an
still.
increased amount of carbohydrates. I'm like, man, there's a lot of food, and then training with a full stomach is kind of tough.
Yeah.
And these guys are pounding
Yeah,
food.
they're shoveling food.
I-
and also like when you do it for so long in
Uh-huh.
an off season, even if you pull back as you're prepping, right, to dial it in, like you,
Well,
you still
tissues are
have-
tissues.
Yeah, and you've created so much inflammation in the gut that it doesn't just magically go away.
Yeah.
Right? From like months and years of pounding food and depleting your body and taking certain supplements, like your digestive tract takes a beating.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't just go away because you start to eat less.
So one thing, and I don't have enough knowledge in terms of peaking an athlete, let's say like for like those 48 hours before a competition. But I think as a whole, a goal that the science of bodybuilding should try to accomplish, and I don't know if it's even possible, is focusing on nutrient density in meals. I don't know if it's possible. I'm not sure. But because it's just to reduce volume and but still keep like the carbs the same somehow, the proteins and fats and everything, but just reduce the volume of the food.
True.
If you could focus on that, then sheer wouldn't have like a full stomach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you should if your digestion is working really well,
you should be able to go through it.
You should
Yeah.
be able to eat larger quantities.
Yeah,
and
not have as much
problem.
distension. Yeah.
And that, like, I can speak from firsthand personal experience with going through a whole gut protocol, fixing my gut. The amount of food I can handle now versus previous preps is wildly different.
Yeah, I saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
I see it like when I'm like, the other day we were talking and I'm like, Jess, like you look stupid different.
It's
one of the biggest things is like I've noticed is you never had a gut, but it was flat, but you know what I mean? Like that, not a turtle shell, but you know what I mean? It was like pseudo poking out and you had a six pack.
Yes.
Now it's like, sunken
you don't
in.
have like the lower belly like protruding.
Yes.
Where your intestines is.
Yeah.
Because that's usually where people end up having a little bit of protrusion if they have gut issues.
Yeah.
So, and to take it back to these big guys, that's usually the case. Again, it could be, there's other factors, there's other stuff. But,
Sure.
That aside, I still think, Samson's recent updates, he just looks fucking wild. Wild.
So I think, let's talk. So we have Samson, right? Samson's coming back. Hadi Chapon is now hopping in the mix because I don't think he competed last year. No, Nick Walker will not be there.
Correct.
Because he's focusing on the New York Pro.
Yep.
Oh, we could talk about so many things now.
I know.
Now
Andrew Jack is not
Andrew
back.
Jack is not back. James Hollingshead is in.
Yep.
And a lot of people are talking about him. This Horse MD guy, we'll get to him in a sec. I think there's so much overhype about him.
There's definitely overhype, but he looks really good.
Oh, he
right
looks
now.
phenomenal. I just think he falls in the same category as Antoine Vaillant.
Who also looks really
phenomenal. He's one of my favorite bodybuilders.
Yeah.
It's just...
He's only ever won one pro show, though.
It's not even that. Like, you put him next to these guys, and they just look small.
Yeah.
Like, they look like you just took them and demagnified them.
Yep.
They look flawless.
Yep.
But, like, when they're standing alone, he looks incredible. Then you put him next to any of these guys, and you're like, oh.
That's why I always say wait till people are on stage. Like, you never know till someone's on stage.
Hold on. Hey, Steph, we're in the middle of a SignatureCAST.
This is his girl. This is his girlfriend.
I will call you back shortly.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Ladies, if your man isn't doing this, throw him in the garbage. Answering in the middle of a live taping.
Live taping. So anyway, we
got
back
Horse
to
MD,
Horse MD, James, right?
Our boy Justin Rodriguez.
Justin Rodriguez. Go ahead.
I will give you some exclusive information since I talk to Justin almost every day. His weight yesterday was the same weight that it was, I think, 2 weeks out.
Last year.
From last year. So he was 266 yesterday.
Damn. That's big.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. He told me 2022 I was 266. At whatever, like, I guess or when he was on stage rather.
Okay.
And he was 266 yesterday.
Wow.
So this is the tightest he's ever looked. I will say this, and I love you, Justin, but his legs don't have those deep lines just yet.
Correct.
His upper body, gnarly, but he doesn't have the deep lines in his legs. Doesn't mean he won't. He's very flat right now. So that is also
if he
really
pops
big part of
well.
it. Yeah.
I know, like, the last time I talked to him about, like, his competing and stuff, I know he'd hop back and forth between a couple different coaches, and he always said his issue is the carb up. So if he can nail that, because I believe it was 2 years ago at the Arnold was the first time I watched the bodybuilding, like, live, and it was when he was, like, fighting for first place at prejudging and then came back and was just flat as a pancake. I truly believe Justin is someone who can win this whole show if he comes in impeccable.
I agree.
Because he's got like a really great flowing physique. It's just he needs the conditioning. Without the conditioning, Justin just doesn't Yeah.
He doesn't pop.
He doesn't have one of those bodies where he can get away with not being conditioned.
Yeah, because
know?
it would even he doesn't have the deep lines and separation in his legs when he's not conditioned.
Sure.
Right? Like some people will have that weeks out. I don't have that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it takes a while. So he's one of those guys that he'll still be like grainy and dry and vascular in his legs, but the separation between the muscles doesn't come until the very end for him. And if he's flat, you're definitely not going to see that. So
it's tough. I mean, I've never gone through that process, but even in like when you give me a high day and I notice the next day how like everything's full and like kind of it's incredible what the body can do. And I know, having seen with Sean and dealt with other bodybuilders now, like within minutes the physique can change, which is pretty crazy. So if we had to go top 5, I'm going to put Hadi at number 1. Are you going to put Samson? Because I think Hadi's that's the one we didn't talk about. His updates, his legs look.
he's coming with a vengeance.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
He's like, I'm here to
like I am Mr. Olympia.
yeah, like I should have been Mr. Olympia. I walked off that stage and didn't talk to anyone else after I didn't win.
He was upset.
And I deserve this win. Did you see he was just squatting 7 plates per side on the Smith machine
A week out.
A week out. This guy's nuts.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I could see him winning.
I think he's going to win personally, because Hadi never has a gut issue.
Correct.
He is flawless in the midsection.
Yeah.
He's going to be big, peeled, and if you noticed, Samson was making a post, and then like the next day, Hadi would make the same type of post. Like you can tell he's just like, it's mine.
And
I'm coming.
his captions are so great because they're translated,
Yeah.
but like they don't exactly make sense. But you know he's taking a dig
Oh,
at
yeah.
Samson. So I've always been a huge Hadi fan since the first Olympia he got to. Like,
No, he's incredible.
I would love to see him win this. And yeah, like the list I have here isn't in no order because I was like, I don't know who the hell, but I do really think Hadi is going to take it.
Yeah, so I'll go Hadi first, definitely Samson second,
Yeah.
no question. Then for third, personally, I think it's a toss up between James Hollingshead, Justin.
We didn't talk about.
We didn't talk about John De La Rosa. We didn't talk
Rafael
about
Brandao.
Yeah,
He looks good, but he's not as
he's
dry
another.
as
But
some of
he's
these other
another
guys.
one of those like.
He put on a ton of size.
We'll have to see when he gets on the stage because he's one of those like in the photos he looks incredible.
Yeah.
But he's how do I explain? Like he is big.
Yeah.
But he's not filled out everywhere he needs to be yet.
No, and he
Which is crazy to think about. Like he's already like huge. But
and his pictures recently they've shown him conditioned. I was watching Nick Strength and Power
Mm-hmm.
earlier, and he did a side by side of Antoine and Rafa, and even though Antoine's smaller than Rafa, but Antoine was like he had the amount of separation
Sure.
he had in his delts compared to Rafa, and it's the same amount of time out. Like
Exactly.
a lot can happen.
Yeah.
But I think he still has to bring the
yeah.
conditioning.
So we'll see. And John De La Rosa, obviously, he's an not old school, but he's been around a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
You can't count him out. I don't think he's placing anywhere in your top 3, but 4th or 5th place could be possible for him. Yeah. And then the Horse MD guy. We didn't get to.
What do you have to say about him?
Let's just pull up his Instagram real quick here. Okay, we're gonna do a little deep dive with Will. Okay.
I think Will doesn't like this guy.
No. I look. I only know him by Horse MD. I don't even know what his real name is. I'm just sick and tired of like the bodybuilding community being like, "But did you see this guy?" And I'm like, he's incredible. Don't get me wrong.
He's a very aesthetic.
He looks like a
aesthetically
classic
pleasing.
guy who's now like
A little bit too big for.
a little bit too big for classic. But once again, I'm telling you, he's gonna fall in the same boat as Antoine.
That's a great shot.
He looks incredible, but you can tell just by looking at it, he's way too small to beat Samson, to beat Hadi.
Yeah.
Even like I think he could go toe to toe with James Hollingshead. I think Hollingshead, his conditioning looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
James is just he is the modern day Branch Warren.
Yeah. He's got as Fuad and the boys would put it, that Caucasian dryness. Like,
and not even just that. It's also the like unfortunate, horrible insertions.
oh yes, yeah.
Like nothing about him is like I'm pretty, but
No,
you're
no,
like,
no.
what the hell?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, look at like
He's blocky, but he's big and dense and thick and
like look at from his
dry.
rear. Jeez.
Yeah, there's just
He reminds me so much of like a slightly taller, but like a Branch Warren type physique.
Exactly. Yep.
So I think he's.
But hey, Branch won Arnold a few times.
Yeah, Branch
so-
almost won the Olympia. If it wasn't for Jay Cutler coming back in 09 with the whole quad stomp and like blowing people away, he would have won the Olympia. So
I think this is probably the best that James has ever looked.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we're going to see James in the top 5.
I agree. I think it'll be Hadi, Samson,
I think Justin or James.
And then Antoine and Rafael Brandao are fighting for fourth. Was that fourth? Yeah. Fourth or fifth. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, because I know you got to go train.
I do.
See, I'm holding her hostage. You know, it's okay. I feel like a midget. But anyway,
I know how I feel.
her legs are just swinging. By the way, it's pretty hilarious. So it's 2024.
It is.
Jess Falborn is making her pro debut.
Yep.
How do you feel? And roughly how many weeks out are you?
So I hate life right now. I said that to Justin this morning when I checked in. He was like, how is like your energy? Are you lethargic? And I was like, listen, I can make it through my workouts, no problem, but I hate life. Like, I'm tired. I'm really tired. But no, all things considered, like comparing 9 weeks out, right now we're anticipated 9 weeks out from our hopeful pro debut first show. And 9 weeks out from when I won my pro card, and I feel so much different. Look so much different. Like I don't feel inflamed or look inflamed. Definitely have better shape. I'm holding onto a lot more muscle. I'm leaner. And when I sent pictures this morning, Justin was like, this is the best you've looked, the best your abs have looked, like your shape is great. The thing that we always are fighting for is the separation in my legs. And it's just, that comes with like more muscle, and it's been our toughest thing. So that's the only thing that I'm like in the back of my head, like, okay, we really got to work on this. But I feel good. All things considered, feel pretty good. I'm eating a lot more than previous preps. Justin just knows how to like not run his athletes into the ground, and I've learned that as well from him with my athletes.
And this is your second show with him, correct?
Yeah. So I had switched to work with Justin at 4 weeks out from winning my pro card. So him and I in 28 days dropped 18 pounds off of my physique. Yeah. And that wasn't the hardest part of my prep. Like that was the easiest part of my prep because what he did was he paid attention and like gave me the attention that I needed. So I checked in every single day with him. We cardio cycled, we carb cycled. He gave me rest days. He fed me instead of being run into the ground nonstop. And so actually I checked in this morning. He was like, okay, you need a little bit of a diet break. So my training day diet today, tomorrow, no cardio, I'll train legs, and I have a high day and an ice bath. And then Sunday, no training, no cardio, but I'm doing a training day diet, so more food again and another ice bath. So 2 ice baths this week.
Yeah, they're fun.
I had Will do an ice bath, his first.
2.
Well,
I've done 2 so far.
2, yeah. You kind of just get used to it.
Honestly, so like I will say the first one I did, I like prepped the tub, I poured all the ice in, and like hopped in. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
So what I did the second time is I filled up the tub, sat in, and then just poured all the ice in. So I stayed in for an extra like 3 minutes longer.
Oh, okay.
But it was like, that's a great pro tip if you hate ice bath, because your body can get like, it's still, trust me, within 2 minutes you're like,
yeah.
But your body, it's not as much as a shock. Your body kind of acclimates to the ice.
Yeah.
So that super did help. But I will say, like, and I've known this because I've done them before, like that night's sleep that you get that day.
Oh my god.
You sleep so much better.
Yeah, because so people don't. I think ice baths get a bad rap sometimes, and like there's been some research that people have talked about, like, oh, it can actually hurt hypertrophy. But if you're doing them, like we do them once
in a while,
once every 2 weeks, and it helps with inflammation. And by inflammation, I mean everywhere, not just like visible, but like in your gut. So if you're having issues with digestion, it helps with that. Any stress on the body, it helps with sleep, getting deeper sleep. I always notice that my weight goes down after an ice bath. So it's just another means of recovery when you're pushing your body in so many different ways.
Well, we'll soon have them here at Signature Fitness.
That's right. I am
So stay tuned.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be
then
awesome.
I won't have to order 60 pounds of ice via Instacart.
What, oh my God, you do Instacart? Of course you would. Go to the supermarket. You got the muscles to pick up the
I
60
do,
pounds.
but like where I park my car
okay.
to my apartment building, like it's not convenient.
Miss Booster Seat. All right.
It's not. I'm by myself. Peach can't help carry the ice in.
That's
like,
true.
Come on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I am super, super excited for you. I know Steph and I'll be in the crowd screaming for you.
So first show we're aiming for St. Louis Pro.
Okay.
April 27th. And we have a bunch of shows right after that. So if we feel like our goal is to bring my best physique ever to stage. So if we feel like it's not going to be my best, it can still be good, but if it's not my best, we will not do that show. And the show right after that we want to do is New York Pro. So I'm doing New York Pro regardless. So everyone here in New York, New Jersey, please come out. I'll be on like first thing in the morning and then later in the day because I'll make top 5.
Yep.
But that's the plan right now. And then I've said this and I'll put it out there again. Like, it's crazy to say, but I want to make the Olympia in my rookie year. So I'm going to do whatever it takes and whatever my body allows me to do. And we'll see what happens.
Jess, I know you can do it.
Thanks.
Guys, that's another episode of the SignatureCAST where we talk bodybuilding, business, and everything in between. We will see you guys at the 2024 Arnold Classic. Have a good one. See you later, Jess.
See ya.
Peace.